I've done extensive research on all possible herbal treatment methodologies that are known to mankind, starting from those which have been used by the ancient Egyptians.
Wow.
One of them is an article that is entitled Ancient Egyptian Medicine.
Wow.
And in that article, you'll find a list of about 200 ancient Egyptian herbal remedies that were used that are documented in hieroglyphic medical papyrus. So we have used some of these. For instance, we don't just see things and then we prescribe any remedy, but we research the hell out of it.
Yes.
To the point of getting it published in professional journals. That's serious business.
New discoveries.
Fertility, myself, have introduced to the body of science knowledge about more than 100 different species of parasites that science did not know about until I discovered them.
Thank you, Doc. We
actually so much. Parasites do not know geographical borders. They do not read English. They cannot see the signs. They cross the borders with movements of populations across border lines, whether it is they are workers, students, or what have you. They cross the border continuously. For instance, it is a common practice that a lot of salad vegetables are fertilized by human waste. 50% of the lettuce that you buy in the grocery store in Scottsdale or Phoenix or wherever you go to buy your groceries come from Mexico. So invariably, you always invariably stand 50% chance of acquiring a parasite that's transmitted via fresh vegetables that are imported from Mexico. You acquire parasite infections by many other routes. By water, by swimming, by pets. That's about pets. A lot of people think that the dog is man's best friend. You could not be any further from the truth.
Oof.
Welcome to the Functional Code, your go-to source for decoding optimal health. Join Dr. Addy and Dr. Jace as they break down the science behind pain, performance, longevity, and more, making complex concepts easy for you to understand and apply in your life. Your journey to a healthier you begins with understanding the Functional Code.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Functional Code. We are excited to bring to you guys today a new guest. Dr. Omar Amin is an internationally recognized parasitologist and director of the Parasitology Center Incorporated in Scottsdale, Arizona, with over 230 scientific publications and more than 3 decades of experience. Dr. Amin has studied both human and animal parasites for many years. He is widely regarded as a leading expert in bridging research and clinical parasitology together. Dr. Omar, thank you for being here today.
You're welcome, sir. Thank you.
Yes.
Good to be here.
Perfect. As always, I'm Dr. Addy.
And I'm Dr. Jace. Yeah, super thankful for you and your time. Got a chance to dive into some of your studies briefly, and super excited to find out more about some of the information that you've learned over the years, just to pick your brain, because I feel like there's a lot of people that either may have parasites or they know of people that are affected through parasites. So I guess let's dive into the background. Why were you starting to go down this route in your life, and what are some of the background information or schooling that you had to learn some of the information about parasites?
My dad was a practitioner and he wanted me to follow his track,
Okay.
but I wanted to be on the preventive aspect of public health rather than waiting till someone gets sick and
Love
then
that.
try to fix them.
I love that.
I have published actually over 335.
Oh, excuse me. Sorry.
Wow.
I got to do better at keeping up.
No, you're doing good. You're doing good. And they're all on parasites of humans and wildlife. And wildlife parasites are the ones that are transmissible to humans,
Yes.
for the most part. So the fact that we look into parasites of squirrels or rats or whatever is still in the public health domain because they have impact on human parasitology.
Yes,
Uh,
absolutely.
we work with about 2,000 practitioners worldwide.
Wow.
And thank God, not all of them send their patients to us at the same time.
Sure.
So we're doing good with that.
Good.
And most of our practitioners are the ones that are not the average AMA doctors that you know about, but mostly alternative practitioners
Yes.
worldwide. I'd say maybe 2/3 of our doctors are from the United States and North America in general, and the rest are from Asia, Europe, all the way to Vietnam, Australia, and we cover the total world.
That's incredible.
We have a mailable kit that collects samples from intestine, fecal elements, as well as from urine, from blood, from skin surfaces,
Yep.
from mucous surfaces, reproductive openings everywhere in the human body. We sample and we test for. Our average recovery rate is, by one of our last counts, is 32.5% of our patients have parasites.
Okay.
And those are the patients that get to be tested.
Got it.
There are many people with symptoms which are highly suggestive of parasitic infections that never get to be tested. Or
Okay.
if they get to be tested, quite often, if they work with an AMA practitioner, I don't mean to knock them out, but this has been our experience. AMA practitioners think that we are the cleanest country in the world. Everything is perfect, and only parasites and infectious agents affect people in third world countries. Yeah.
So that's not the case in the United States, is what you're saying, doctor. You obviously see plenty here.
Definitely, actually, our prevalence rate of parasite infections in the United States, which is a 32.5%, is the same as the one that you get in Mexico.
Wow.
And it is comparable to ones that you find in many other civilized, quote unquote, countries.
Now, doctor, do you feel like the reason why people just don't know, I shouldn't maybe say that, but why do you feel like there's a gap in knowledge when it comes to the modern medical? And why are they not knowing about testing for parasites? Or where's the gap in what you're doing with maybe modern medical?
Gap is, I'll tell you, but how many practitioners you know of that by the time they finish med school, they have taken classes in infectious diseases or parasitology or infectious agents?
Very little.
No such classes. They're all
Right.
clinical, and they're all into the treatment and the prescription medicine for the most part.
Yep.
Because we are so clean that we are unlike the rest of the world. We actually so much. Parasites do not know geographical borders. They do not read English. They cannot see the signs. They cross the borders with movement of populations across border lines, whether it is they are workers or students or tourists or what have you. They cross the border continuously.
Right.
We work in Mexico all the time, and we see that there's actually no difference. There's actually no difference whatsoever.
So, Doc, what are some of the common parasites from Arizonians just in the state? Is it different from out of state, out of world, or are there some common ones you find?
Not much different than the rest of the country, because as I just finished mentioning, there's no borderline division lines between Arizona and Mexico.
Yeah.
In Mexico, for instance, it is a common practice that a lot of salad vegetables are fertilized by human waste. 50% of the lettuce that you buy in the grocery store in Scottsdale or Phoenix or wherever you go to buy your groceries come from Mexico.
Okay.
So invariably, you always invariably stand 50% chance of acquiring a parasite that's transmitted via fresh vegetables that are imported from Mexico.
Wow.
That is the rule of the thumb. So you need to always be on the careful side in terms of proper washing of vegetables, assuming the worst, and do your best job of cleansing your fresh produce,
Correct. Yeah.
irrespective of where you think they're coming from.
Interesting. So is that also, so is the fruits and the food that we consume, is that mainly where a lot of the parasites come from? Or is it also some other animals or environmental factors?
The ingestion of parasites accidentally with food and drink is one of the major routes of acquiring a parasite infection.
Okay.
Okay.
But you acquire parasite infections by many other routes. By water, by swimming, by pets.
Ah,
That's about pets. A lot of people think that the dog is man's best friend. You could not be any further from the truth.
Oof.
interesting.
Because dogs, and to some extent cats, can and do transmit cystode and nematode parasites by children exchanging kisses with dogs.
Interesting.
If the dog inhabits the outdoors and they sniff each other and they sniff each other's fecal material, as I'm sure,
Yeah.
and they acquire parasitic stages of especially cystode or tapeworm infections. And as they groom themselves, the infective stages becomes embedded in the dog's mouth and tongue.
Okay.
And if you kiss the dog, you exchange the infectious agent from the dog's tongue to the child's tongue, and from there to the rest of the child's body.
Wow.
That's just talking about one very small part of the picture that involves pets. I love dogs, and my wife would love to have dogs at home, but no such thing is allowed in this household.
Got it. From what you've experienced, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yes.
The AMA doctors, again, forgive me if I come so strong. First of all, they do not suspect parasites as agents of human infections, not just direct infections by parasites, but chronic diseases that are premeditated by parasitic infections.
Which kinds, Doc? Do you have any specific ones that you feel are made worse by parasites or even started by parasites?
You mean in terms of chronic infections?
Intensive chronic, yep.
Gut leakage is one.
Okay.
We had actually our remedy that we put out and available in the market treats all intestinal as well as extra-intestinal parasites that reside elsewhere in the body outside of the gut, like
Okay.
the human body cavity. But we do have some parasite patients that have developed cancerous cases.
Wow.
Interesting.
And our remedy has treated few cancer cases that are predisposed to by parasitic infections.
Wow.
So there's many chronic conditions that are predisposed to by parasite infections. And the problem is that with the medical practitioner who does not have a background in interpreting a human symptom as possibly by parasites, they order the wrong tests or do not order the correct tests just for parasites. They
Got
say,
it.
oh, we have no parasites in the United States. We are so clean. All right. So you miss that part. And then if you go that far by ordering a parasite test and you get the test results, they do not know what parasites to look for.
Sure.
They do not know how to test for them.
Yep.
And least of all, they do not know how to treat parasite infections because they have never been exposed to parasitology in med school. So preemptively, they are unable to deal with interpreting and dealing with symptoms, ordering the right test, and then understanding the test results and knowing what remedies to treat,
Absolutely.
to use.
Interesting.
So, Doc, how do people start to assess themselves that they might need a parasite test? What are some of the things that you see commonly with these kinds of individuals?
All right. This is too bifold story.
Okay.
We work with doctors that make it their common practice to have all the patients order a parasitology test as part of their annual checkup,
Okay.
routinely, with or without a reason.
Yep.
It's part of your annual checkup.
I like that.
You will not believe how much that reveals, even when you least suspect it. But if you have symptoms and the doctor suspects that they are parasite symptoms, those are usually in two categories: intestinal symptoms, such as abdominal cramps, diarrhea, constipation, bleeding, what have you, or extraintestinal parasites that occur outside the intestinal tract, such as nausea, chronic fatigue,
Okay.
gut leakage. Those are not directly related to an intestinal parasite.
Okay.
Keep in mind the fact that quite often a parasite that's doing damage in the intestinal tract, one of the parasite byproducts, that is their parasites as living organisms, they feed and they, forgive me for saying this, they defecate also.
Yes, of course.
We have waste products produced by parasites
Yep.
while they are in your intestinal tract.
Yep.
Waste parasites sometimes have allergic reaction.
Yes.
The patient can have allergies due to the waste byproducts of the parasite, which may not even be very harmful by itself, but the waste products can cause allergic reaction.
Wow.
And the allergic reaction prompt extraintestinal parasites.
Wow.
Yeah, absolutely. It prompt extraintestinal symptoms. Yeah.
So knowing there are certain symptoms or that can show you where the parasite might be, is there a certain specific test for a certain strain or specific parasite specifically, just so they can zone in on the treatment aspect?
Yeah, we have basically two major tests for parasites. We have actually many tests for parasites in blood, in urine, in fecal elements, in mucous membranes, what have you. But they all address either direct symptoms or indirect symptoms. Direct symptoms, that is, let's say, like bleeding. Indirect symptoms, they're like gut leakage.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Okay, so both kinds, we have a test. The direct symptoms test is a test for about 45 different species of parasites
Okay.
that
Wow.
we test for. And those are the ones that we know of in North America.
Okay.
But there's many other parasites outside of those 45 that are common in Japan or in Manchuria or in Korea
Yeah.
or in Vietnam, what have you. We test for all of these also, and
Wow.
we add an additional note or addendum at the end of our test results sheet that deals with the unknown North American parasites.
Got it.
So we cover everything that you could ever be exposed to, irrespective of where you acquired the parasite in the world.
Got it.
And for the body cavity and urine tests and mucus tests and so on, we have a swab test that tests for possible pathogenic bacteria that can also cause serious symptoms comparable to the symptoms of the gut infections,
Sure.
but they are not gut parasites.
Okay.
They are pathogenic bacteria like E. coli, Campylobacter, Shigella, Salmonella.
Of course.
Things we test for them also by the swab test.
Well,
We recommend that the patients do both tests at the same time. This way we cover the total spectrum and not miss anything.
I love that. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
So that's our routine. It's called comprehensive analysis, which covers intestinal and extra, that is outside intestinal symptoms also.
Okay. Doc, I'm sure everyone listening right now is excited to hear about how you treat this, but Has your treatment changed along the way as you've been learning more about this, or how has your treatment changed maybe over the years before we get into how you do it?
I've done extensive research
Right.
on all possible herbal treatment methodologies that are known to mankind, starting from those which have been used by the ancient Egyptians.
Wow.
Wow.
We have read the hieroglyphics part of ancient Egyptian medicine. And actually, if you go into our website, which is called parasitesting.com,
Okay.
you'll find the list of all my publications, over 300 publications. One of them is an article that is entitled Ancient Egyptian Medicine.
Wow.
And in that article, you'll find a list of about 200 ancient Egyptian herbal remedies that were used that are documented in hieroglyphic medical papyrus.
Wow.
All right. So we have used some of these.
Okay.
One, for instance, is pomegranate seed extract.
Okay. Interesting.
You will not find this in any other remedy in the world. But we grabbed this one from ancient Egypt, among a few others also.
Okay.
And then if you get into our website, just click on remedies or treatments. You can get a list of the ingredients that are going into our remedies that is divided into 3 different formulations.
Okay.
One formulation kills the parasites. That's called freedom. And one formulation that's called restore, which integrates intestinal with extraintestinal functions of the remedy route of the treatment. And the third one that provides healing, it's called restore. That is, as parasites will cause a lot of damage,
Yes.
not just by eating or destroying actual tissues, but by also their byproducts will cause different set of symptoms.
Sure.
So the restore has ingredients that rebuilds damaged tissue from host actions, either by feeding or migrations. Parasites migrate, and they quite often Amoeba histolytica or Ascaris lumbricoides. They migrate in the body from the entry site to the final site where they reside and mature to adulthood, and they breed. They go through the whole body. And this cycle causes damage because the parasite produces histolytic enzymes that digest the human live tissue and paves the way for the parasite to move from one place to another.
Got it.
With the parasites, not all parasites, but most parasites that migrate will produce histolytic enzymes to allow them to move from one place to another.
Got it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
This 3-part kind of series, Doc, how long does it usually take for a patient to finish this kind of treatment?
We give it based on 2 criteria. One, whether the parasite represents an acute infection, short-term infection, which is judged by our test results.
Yep.
And if the parasite that we find is identified as a breeding, reproducing parasite.
Got it.
Or non-reproducing parasite.
Got it.
That will indicate whether it is actively damaging so much or not so much damaging.
Sure.
The parasite that we list it in the trophozoite stage, which is the actively feeding stage, or sporozoite stage, which is the sporulating stage that is non-feeding.
Okay.
And based on this, we decide whether the patient is an acute patient or a chronic patient.
Got it.
If the patient has an acute infection, we recommend our remedy for 3 months.
Okay.
If the patient is a chronic case, then we recommend the remedy for 5 months.
Okay.
And that 5 months can be extended depending on the case, like in cancer cases and other long-term cases. We recommend this sometimes for as long as 1 year.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
I can see that.
But there are strains of Blastocystis hominis that are short-term there are 4 serotypes of Blastocystis hominis, which is the most common infective agent in North America.
Oh, wow.
Blastocystis hominis. There's some strains of it in northern India that are extremely hard to treat, and those we recommend the treatment for at least until 1 year time or so, until the infection is terminated.
Sure.
Wow.
So we can go that long, but normally it's 3 months and 5 months.
Okay.
Interesting. So is that where you retest via whatever samples to
Yes, of
find
course.
out?
Yes, that's a very good question. You ask good questions.
Now, Doc, are patients to expect any side effects from treatment? Obviously, do parasites move a certain way out of the body after they are starting treatment, or what are some of the things you find?
Usually within the first 2, maximum 3 weeks of the treatment, the symptoms get worse before they get better.
Sure.
So when the symptoms get worse, we tell the patient, don't worry, it means it's working. Don't worry about it. Just keep doing what you're doing. They get worse because of what we call the parasite kill.
Yeah.
When they kill, they break open and a lot of their ingredients spread out and they become, the infective nature becomes stronger.
Yes.
But after that, within the first month, all the bad symptoms disappear and the patient starts getting better.
Good.
By the end of the first month and through the second month, the patient normally feels back to normal. The third month is to make sure that all infections have disappeared.
Yes.
And after the patient feels well back again, we recommend to retest to make sure
Yes.
there's no residents left from the infection. Because sometimes parasites, once they get aggravated by the treatment, they produce what we call drug-resistant pockets.
Oh, wow.
And drug-resistant pockets can produce strains that are stronger than the original strains. So it's important to retest even after you feel perfectly normal. Retest just to make sure
Yes.
there's no pockets of resistance that are remaining in the body after that. And then we deal with that as need be afterwards.
Interesting. I'm learning so much. Thank you for all this. Like you're doing, this is amazing. When after you're like, as you're talking, the first thing that was coming to my mind is, have you seen parasites migrate into the brain, nervous system? Does it like cross?
Definitely. For instance, again, Entamoeba histolytica, which is a very serious protozoan infection. Normally, if it read the book, it stays in the gut.
Okay.
Okay. But quite often, and God knows why, I have no idea, don't ask me, they decide to invade the gut wall and end up in the liver.
Okay.
So they affect the hepatic portal system. And the liver becomes emaciated, it becomes enlarged, and from the liver, they get bloodborne and they get carried with the blood anywhere in the body.
Oof.
The trophozoite stage of this intestinal parasite can occasionally infect the brain, and they can cause damage to the brain. And the patient can die from brain damage from a typically intestinal parasite that went the wrong way from the liver on. So that does happen, yes.
Does that, if it crosses that, like through the liver in that route, how quick is that for?
Takes longer time. The
Yeah.
normal cycle of E. histolytica is about from 1 to 2 months.
Oh, 2 months. Okay.
Gotcha.
To get to the brain takes 3 or 4 months, maybe even 5 months max. And the brain damage will occur within 6 months.
6. Oof.
When the patient have central nervous system symptoms and they go to the brain surgeon. So I tell the patient, don't go to the brain surgeon, go to the parasitologist.
Yes.
You're picking the wrong doctor.
Yes.
And the brain surgeon would not know what the hell to do with the brain condition. And we've had cases like that. And we've advised the patient to treat the parasite at the intestinal stages.
Yeah.
And once that is treated, it stops going elsewhere.
And Doc, correct me if I'm wrong, but when they have these maybe worsening symptoms and they're going to the brain doctor is going to do an MRI or a CT, and they won't show up on those forms of imaging, parasites,
They
correct?
sometimes cause little blips on the scan, which the brain surgeon would not know what they are,
Okay.
unless if they take a puncture biopsy and send us the sample, and we can
Right.
identify it from the tissue sample. Then we tell them where they've gone wrong.
So so in your opinion, a lot of those are missed when they go that route.
Most of them are missed.
Yeah. Okay.
Most of them are missed.
Yeah. Ugh.
Crazy.
Now, Doc, I don't know how often you are on social media, but there are a lot of influencers out there promoting parasite cleanses. And I'm just curious if you've ever heard of any of those kinds of modalities. And I'm just curious from your perspective on how off track are these kinds of cleanses on social media, if you've ever looked at them.
I've seen some of those things and I'm not impressed.
Yeah. Okay.
It is sad to see people that I spent more than 40 years of my life working with parasites.
Yes.
And it takes a lot of being exposed to the field firsthand. We've examined every single parasite anywhere in the world you could think of. And we have a remedy that works for every single parasite, whether it's intestinal or body cavity parasite, and works like a charm.
Yeah.
I don't know, or let's say I do know, that many of the names and the qualifications I see on social media about parasitology, if the people are qualified.
Sure. Of course.
Do what they say they can do.
Yeah.
So I don't want to be insulting, but
No, I
Needs to be said.
I think both Dr. Jace and I are on the same page when we agree with that. I think there's just too many out there that are looking to sell and make a quick buck without actually any real credibility. So
I suggest when you get onto our website, parasitesting.com, check the list of publications, and you can download any paper that you want to, and you can see the extent of our research. We don't just see things and then we prescribe any remedy, but we research the hell out of it.
yes,
To the point of getting it published in professional journals.
yes,
This is
100%.
not a little game, that's serious business.
Love that. Damn.
So Doc, now when patients are going through your treatment, are there other types of, let's say, recommendations that you have for them, whether that's lifestyle changes, diet, other kind of functional improvements in their life? Are there things that you also try to help them with?
Lifestyle changes are extremely important. I spend a lot of time discussing this, mostly with doctors, not so much with patients anymore, about lifestyle changes. Quite often we find out that what we call an index case of parasites has an impact, ramifications on other cases in the same household. Members in the same household are twice as liable to be infected as the index case in the same household.
Wow.
So when we get a case, sometimes we recommend that all members in the same household are tested if we suspect the infectious nature of the parasite.
Do you test their animals too, Doc?
A lot of patients send us their animal samples
Got it.
along with their own.
Yeah.
Love that.
We test them both, and quite often we find relationships.
Yeah.
Many animal parasites, especially dog parasites, Cryptosporidium. I'm sure you heard about Cryptosporidium.
Yep, of course.
There are strains of Cryptosporidium which infect humans, that infect dogs, and that infect cats. And now the trend in taxonomy of Cryptosporidium is showing that they all are the same species, but they're just different strains.
Yep.
A person can get a Cryptosporidium infection from a dog, cross over to a human, to himself, or to his child, or to his wife.
Wow.
So in this case, even though we may not have tested the rest of the family members, we recommend that everybody gets treated the same way.
Yes.
Because quite often, if you treat the index case and it recovers, but there's enough evidence to show that has transmitted to the wife or the child, that they can reinfect the index case again if they are not equally treated, well treated. So we recommend treatment to everybody in the household, owners, family, and pets.
Interesting. Playing, I'm going to say devil's advocate, but let's say a family member was pregnant, a female, obviously. Would you also have similar cleanses for females that are pregnant? And is there certain things that are safe, maybe not safe?
Yes, there are things that may not be safe for a pregnant woman.
Okay.
And we have precautions which are written on the labels for those circumstances. And we always recommend that the practitioner of that lady have to examine the offs and ons of the remedy before allowing the lady to take it.
Yep.
Okay.
So it's only with the practitioner's permission.
Understandable.
When patients are infected, are there areas of their house where parasites tend to live maybe externally of the body if they've been infected, or is it pretty much in?
Yes, for instance, if you live in Minnesota and you have a cat that you love very dearly, and you do not clean the cat's fecal matter at least twice a week,
Okay.
you're running into a high possibility of toxoplasma infection.
Okay.
Toxoplasmosis can cause brain damage and can be fatal. I said in Minnesota because if the cat, depends on the cat's habits, going outdoors or staying indoors, it incubates the sporozoites in the cat's den or the cat place where they stay. And the sporozoite is only infective if it's incubated for up to 1 week.
Okay.
So if it's not incubated, if you keep cleaning them once a week, then you prevent that incubation period from manifesting. And as a result, you're eliminating the possibility of toxoplasma sporozoites being infective.
That's great to know.
Is there a type of cleaning compound you recommend? Because I don't know, do all of them have a good chance of eliminating the pathogen, or is there a stronger compound that you recommend?
You mean for cats business?
Yeah, even just, we can just go off of, let's just say animals, cleaning animals. Is there a compound that you recommend stronger than maybe your daily household cleaning items?
We don't really work with this except to say that use the same remedy for humans for pets.
Okay, okay, sure, good.
It's the safest way of doing it.
Okay.
Of the 330 papers that we published, over more than 100 of them are taxonomic papers that describes new species, new biological species in the animal kingdom that have not been known to science before I investigated them. So
They're new discoveries.
Facility myself have introduced to the body of science knowledge about more than 100 different species of parasites that science did not know about until I discovered them.
Thank you, Doc. Thank you. Thank you for the hard work you've continued to do in this area. And I'm sure there's more individuals who wish they could have access to you, but if they were interested in working with you, Doc, how do they best get a hold of you so that they can maybe ask you questions or work with you?
The best thing is our website has a couple of telephone numbers. They can call the office and they can talk to me if there's something serious that I can help them with. They can also educate themselves by looking over our list of publications and finding something that may be relevant to their point of questions. I said if they were interested in remedies, we have few articles on herbal remedies that are featured on our list of publications. They can also access articles on our magic list, and they can download anyone that is relevant to their point of questions. And if they have questions on it, then they can ask us. I also want to mention that as all ailments starts with the digestive tract,
Yes.
okay? And that starts with ingestion of various material that are infective in the environment, whether it's food items or drink items. So dental work becomes important in different aspects because I have discovered also a new disease that affects the dental material that was once confused with intestinal parasites, and that turned out to be related to dental material, dental compounds that are entered into the mouth as part of the dental rehabilitation programs, fillings and compounds, and
And mercury too.
mercury is one of them. I
Yeah.
have published an article that lists 680 different dental compounds that cause that disease.
Wow.
That disease is sometimes confused with producing symptoms like that of intestinal parasites, but it is not an intestinal parasite. It is not a biological organism. It is a toxic product. This is part of the dental material that goes into our dental work as you go to the dentist.
Have you created any type of testing for the oral microbiota, Doc?
Definitely. We have a test in Colorado Springs that is run for us that tests dental material for any possible chemical incompatibilities with the biological system. We work with that, and this featured. I published about 25 different articles about it.
Wow.
Uh,
I think there's a lot of people who are starting to wake up more on the inconsistencies with certain dental practices and the manifestations that can happen in health and in all over the body, not even just in the mouth when they have these issues. I know a lot of people are trying to remove their root canals. They're trying to remove a lot of the things that they've had prior because they do feel like it's made a change to their life after doing it.
I've called that disease NCS for mucocutaneous, mucocutaneous syndrome. NCS, mucocutaneous syndrome.
Okay.
And if you look up mucocutaneous syndrome articles in my magic list of publications on our website, you'll find all about it.
I'm definitely going to read up.
Many dentists are beginning to wake up to the impact of what they can do to people's health by improperly infusing the bioincompatibility dental material into the patient's systems.
Agreed. Yeah. I unfortunately had a root canal done and I had an infection happen that was happening for a long time, but I didn't understand that it was. And it wasn't until 5 years later that I had a CT scan and showed the infection, and they had to clean everything out. And I had definitely changed health-wise since that had happened. And I don't think a lot of people understand the manifestations that can happen from that.
Yeah. Like I said, all infirmities begin in the mouth.
Yes.
Whether it's infectious nature or toxic nature.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. Question for you, and this kind of, I don't know if this is in your realm, maybe not. Have you heard information of how certain scientists are taking samples from Antarctica? Have you heard of how they took samples from like the deep layers of ice in Antarctica and they're finding this bacteria? I don't know if it's parasites. Have you looked into that at all, or do you have any comments on that?
Publications, you'll find at least 15 articles, not from Antarctica, but from the Arctic, from
the poles.
The poles,
Yep.
southern pole, from the southern pole.
Yep.
Okay.
Organisms that are infecting aquatic life, to which human life is also equally exposed.
Wow.
Interesting.
So we have that from the Antarctica. Yeah.
Wow.
That's incredible. Yeah, I saw some of that, and I could definitely see where you can find potentially new strains, new sites. When you're looking and finding or discovering these new parasites, is there certain things that you're looking for in terms of either how the mobility is or certain things that present the tell you that it's a potential new
A
strain?
lot of our work is mostly has to start out at the taxonomic level. You have to identify an organism and give it a name.
Okay.
Then other people that want to follow your track can follow the organisms now that you have a name tag to it. They want to investigate it more, then they know what to look for.
Okay.
So the initial research has to be taxonomic in nature.
Yeah.
Okay.
Most of my work is taxonomic, but we do a lot of environmental impact if there is need to, depending on what organism we're stuck with, and this impact on human life or even wildlife forms,
Yeah.
because we're equally interested in wildlife survival just the same.
Yeah.
Love that.
From transmitting.
Yeah.
Dr. Omar, we thank you for your time. This has been a huge knowledge base value, and we're really excited to just share this with everyone. So we're going to share all of your information on the link below. You can find Dr. Omar here in Scottsdale at parasitesting.com.
Yes.
Yes. And if you have any questions, please reach out to him, and we're going to definitely be sharing this with our patients too, because I think it's definitely an area of health that is underappreciated and maybe missed heavily. And so we thank you for your time again, Doctor.
Thank you.
You're most welcome.
Yes, you have a good, wonderful day. Thank you.
Thank you. Take care. Thank you.
Appreciate
Bye-bye.
you.
Disclaimer, the content provided in this health podcast is for informational purposes only and is not intended as a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice of your physician or other qualified health provider with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition. Never disregard professional medical advice or delay in seeking it because of something you have heard on this podcast. If you think you may have a medical emergency, call your doctor or 911 immediately. Reliance on any information provided in this podcast is solely at your own risk. The creators and hosts of this podcast are not responsible for any actions or decisions you may take based on the information presented.
Thanks for joining us on The Functional Code. For more evidence-based health insights, subscribe, rate and review wherever you get your podcasts. Remember, your journey to a healthier you begins with understanding the functional code. Until next time, stay well, stay informed, and embrace the science of living well.